Well, no, video games are enjoyed by all sorts of different people. On the 4th of July, I got a little more time into World of Warcraft, a little more time to The Witcher 3. Yes, I'm finally playing Witcher 3. Thus far has been amazing. Well, video game websites also were around on the 4th of July. Yesterday, much maligned video game trash heap, IGN put out an article called the most American games of all time. And a few of you sent this to me, and several of you are getting it. You're sending me the archive. That's what we all do. Archive.fo. If you're going to laugh at an article in the video game journalism world, if you're going to send me something, send me the archive. Together, there are thousands of us. We can each help each other learn how to use archive so we can stop monetizing, providing positive feedback for these type of articles. Now, IGN decided to celebrate the 4th by taking a dump on the country. Now, I think that it's a fair point that, as a citizen, you don't want to be, blindly supporting every little thing that your nation does, obviously. But, if you're a video game website, I find it curious that you would put out this type of article. So they put out the most American games of all time. It's a 4th of July, which means that for our American readers, at least, it's the day that marks when the United States officially, this thing's cast off the rule of King George III and declared our independence. Aside. The vote to do so was actually held on July 2nd. Yeah, we get it. You know how to use Wikipedia. Regardless, we hear thought about video games have become such a prevalent form of the United entertainment in the U.S. and yes, across the world, and how so many of us have chosen to use a good old U.S. of A. as a backdrop, both literally and metaphorically, to tell their stories. So before we leave to don our best, I doubt you did. I'm sure you all stayed home and screamed at other families having fun. The type of people that write these hot takes didn't go anywhere on the 4th of July, or maybe they had everyone over and they all just sneered at families and kids having fun, and they probably make a game of calling the cops on people who use fireworks after 10 p.m. or something. That's what I imagine these type of people do on the 4th of July. They get together, they pool all their extra money, and they buy a patty of vegan meat, and then the one person who has like a grill, they go out and panhandle to get a few chunks of charcoal, and then they sneer on their $900 cell phones about capitalism or something like that. So anyway, so leave before they done our best. Red, white, and blue gather around someone's laptop, a phone, or traditional watching of Bill Pullman talking about aliens. Here are some of our picks for the most American games of all time. Now, you want to talk Independence Day as a 4th of July movie? I think it is. I think the better 4th of July movie is Joe Dirt, but that's just my opinion. They start out with The Last of Us. Even it's an apocalyptic state, the remnants of the U.S. are still standing in The Last of Us amidst the chaos surrounding the country. You can still sense the ideals of the Founding Fathers. As people can try and claim the land and ownership of their governing prospects, it's still prevalent that the drive to remain human, respect humanity, and uphold the standards of law as much as the current state would allow is strong. That's a good take. Good take, Brandon Hunt. Appreciate you. Let's see what Stella Chung has to say. BioShock Infinite. I was initially going to write Cornhole, but BioShock Infinite has enough of the American tradition showcased in the game to suffice. It even keeps in some of America's old-fashioned racism and problems with inequality. Wow. Thanks for that hot take. The BioShock games were always about a uniquely American form of objectivism, a strong man justifying authoritarian control with vague and lofty principles like liberty and individualism. I get a feeling that Eric Sams, their social media manager, has no idea what individualism is and no idea what individual responsibility is. But Father Comstock is the most American of all the franchise's villains, and Columbia is such a heightened, feverish version of the American patriotism gone wrong that seeing scenes reminiscent of the real world is very eerie. Plus, You get to take on an 8-foot tall mechanized founding fathers, which is cool. All right. So woke, much wow. Let's hear what Jeremy Azevedo, Senior Director of Games Video, has to say. Saints Row 4 is a game where you play as a gang leader who is also the President of the United States. Here we go. Which is also a Matrix-like construct of hostile alien race. You can fly a jet shaped like an eagle and wield guns that assault people with dubstep. You can save Christmas, go to hell, and disarm a missile mid-flight while blasting Aerosmith. It simply does not get more mid-2000s American than that. Yeah, that's okay, I suppose. That's probably a fair take. Grand Theft Auto 4. This is written by Jobert Atinzia, a news producer. Grand Theft Auto 4 is probably the most American game I've ever played. It stars an immigrant. Oh my God. An immigrant coming over in a search for a better life, realizing the American streets are not paved with gold, but then picking himself up from his bootstraps and becoming a successful business person, albeit in the criminal underworld. You also take part in other American activities like fighting loan sharks and bad people and the government, and conducting business transactions with ladies of the night. Murica. Okay, so you chose literally all the bad things about America and represent them in the video game. I'm not surprised. Grand Theft Auto 5. Let's see what Lucy O'Brien has to say. GTA 5 summed up what the USA looked like to an outsider like me. Okay, so you're not even from the USA. Okay, great. The country seen through the lens of its most extreme traits, capitalism obsessed and nihilistic, yes, but with an endless opportunity and insatiable attitude for doing whatever the heck you want. Want to take that jet ski while wearing an Armani suit and ride it out on the beach? America's the place for you. Yeah, I suppose if you believe stereotypes, but usually these people are against that type of thing. But nonetheless, we've got Max Scoville. Now, some of these takes are not horrible. Like, for example, credit to Jesse Wade. Naming an actual video game. And making an actual video game point about it. I can't think of anything more American than going old school with Super Baseball 2020 on the SNES. If you choose the American Dream Team, you can be even more patriotic. Love it. Appreciate you, Jesse Wade. Metal Gear Solid. Let's see. In Metal Gear Solid, Ground Zeroes, players must covertly infiltrate the American military encampment in Guantanamo Bay to rescue a pair of children being held prisoner. To me, there's nothing less American than children being held prisoner in military encampments. Oh, are you trying to make a statement about what might be going on the border right now? Oh, you're so clever. Oh my God, I'm so glad I could get this great top 5 list of video games to play on the 4th of July from IGN. Thankfully, Metal Gear is a fictional series, and nothing like this in real life would ever happen. I like video games because they don't involve politics. Yeah, your sarcasm is low grade. Everybody can read through it. You're not funny. Empire Total War. It's more American than reenacting the Battle of Bunker Hill. One of the most important engagements of the American War of Independence. You totally can in Empire Total War. Sure, the Americans historically lose that battle, but boy, do we make the British pay for the victory. Hey, Jobert, that's a good take. Is that 2 good takes from Jobert? Yeah, 2 decent takes from Jobert. America's Army, you knew they were going to mention that. When the U.S. Army gets involved in video games, you know you've got a classic military recruitment tool on your hands. Then Broforce. This is actually, it seems like a good take. As a child growing up in Australia, my outsider's view of the U.S. was heavily shaped on 80s action movies. Thus, Broforce, a guns ablazing, all biceps flexion tribute to the Reagan era, stuffed with an iconic yet copyright dodging characters like Rambro, Bromando, and Brobocop, is all American as it gets, as far as I'm concerned. I love it. That's a good take. Good job, Tristan. Red Dead Redemption 2. If you want the quintessential Americana experience, Red Dead 2 is about as close to an IRL Westworld as you could get. Yeah, but you don't really have a quintessential Americana experience in Westworld, but that's neither here nor there. There's a very specific feeling about riding slow through the green fields and pastures of New Hanover and the dusty plains. I like that. Hey, good take. Good take. Joe John Ryan. But of course, at the end, then there's overall theme that greed and paranoia can so easily go hand in hand, and that's up to us to make the right choices to avoid ruination of those hands, which only provides a strong narrative arc, which also clearly echoes many issues in our current time. Let's see what Jeremy Azevedo has to say. Spec Ops, the line is a really fun shooter where you go to the Middle East for reasons that are entirely unclear and slowly go mad while sort of inadvertently committing war crimes. USA. Oh, you're so funny. Oh, my God. IGN writers. You know, they're just so funny. How about Far Cry 5? Oh, boy. Here we go. Kevin Lee. The first Far Cry games set in good old US of A, lays it on thick with freedom and democracy. It also has a cartoonish depiction of backcountry America, where everyone is either a prepper or a paramilitary unit. Everyone has guns and extensive training on how to use them all. Okay, that's an okay take. I mean, I lived in Louisville, and obviously I live in the Midwest too, but it is, of course, a video game. Let's see what John Ryan has to say about it. Nervous. Far Cry 5 is an excellent representation of modern American society. Oh, good Lord. Religious zealots take control of as many people's lives as they can, committing atrocities against anyone who doesn't conform to their apocalyptic outlook, all while the government either aids them. Oh, my God. These people must be just totally fun at parties, don't you think? Imagine having to have a political... You could just say, like, hey, you know what's great about... what the most American games are, for the 4th of July. You could have written the article like top 10 games to play while enjoying family and friends on the 4th of July. Top games to get you through that family event on the 4th. Or how about top 10 games that are easy to pick up and represent all the fun things about gathering with friends and family. Metal Wolf Chaos. Seriously, how's not the most American game ever? You play as the president of the United States in a mech, fighting to stop the vice president, Richard Hawke, from taking over the country. The phrase, suck on my missile punch, is actually used. You can fight in space, presidential mech battles in space. All right, Brandon, that sounds like you're actually a gamer. That sounds like you're actually a gamer. Well, so, of course, we'll stop it here. There are some decent takes in here, but it sounds like most of the people that work at IGN are bitter, smelly, just overall, they're like Linus, that kid from Charlie. What was the kid with the rain cloud over him all the time? I don't know. This is how these people come across me. But that's what IGN's about. They're not really a video game website. There's just so many great examples in here of them taking like a video game and then like whinging about Drumpf, that they just can't help themselves, most of these people, and it's funny to laugh at. Enjoy your upcoming impending layoffs, IGN. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.